Hello, it's time for another Combat Patrol unboxing. Well, here we are at a brand new delivery, which I believe is delivery 15. I might be a number behind. I've kind of lost track, really. But we have the final 2 units for our Leagues of Votann Combat Patrol. 4 fun-filled issues, plus we have our latest character pack revealed to us. So we'll be taking a look at that in just a sec. Yeah, it's a pretty good delivery. Our next delivery is going to be even better, as it's supposed to be our next premium set. Plus, we get our bonus issues for the Orcs and Votann. Plus, we start the Genestealer Cults. So it's going to be an exciting run-up to Christmas and even over the Christmas period. So looking forward to that. I am a bit behind, as you may have noticed, on issues. I still have issues 53 and 54 to film, so I'm going to have to combine those together. I've already filmed the build guide for issue 53, so I'm going to have to film the paint guide for 54, and then do all the lore and stuff in one video, and do a bonus video where we get to try out the new Hernkyn warriors in a mission. So yeah, it'll be 4 videos to catch up, but yeah, I think it'll be worth it. Sadly though, that does mean the poll I had about who the Chaos Facers face next is kind of null and void, but I will take it into account. Originally it was going to be Tyranids, as they were winning at the time I filmed the issues, but the Eldari have actually won in the end, so it's going to be another battle of goodbye all my 6s. I don't know if I am playing that right. If I am, let me know. If not, please do correct me in the comment section so I can do these videos a bit better. But yeah, modifying a 6 down to a 5 due to -1 to hit doesn't guarantee you the 6, and yeah, I think that's how it works anyway. So, right, yeah, without further ado, let's hop over to the table and take a look at this delivery. But before we do, don't forget to do all the usual. Like this video if you're enjoying the content, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and drop me a comment down below. Love hearing back from you guys. It goes a massive way to help the channel, and I love hearing what you're up to in your hobby. Finally then, Combat Patrol Carnage is proudly sponsored by warbay.shop, your one-stop supply for all your hobby needs. They stock everything for your entire hobby journey, from your first models to your paints and to your gaming equipment as well. They also stock past and present partworks from Hachette, including Combat Patrol. So there's some extra issues you want to double up on to expand your force. Do check them out, they might just have the one you're looking for. And who knows, you might find your next hobby project at a bit of a discount. Right then, let's head to the table and unbox our latest delivery. So here we are, a brown plastic bag, paper bag even, for a change instead of our usual black plastic ones. So this might be Hachette finally going the route of recyclable materials for most of their products. They did trial it, I believe, 1 delivery in Stormbringer magazine, if I remember rightly. I think they had like 1 odd delivery where they had paper bags. So it would be nice if they start giving us plastic-free magazines though, because we still have all our magazines in plastic bags. But it's nice that we can recycle the outer packaging. So, as I was saying, we have a reveal to show off, so our latest new character pack. So here we have Boss Snikrot. In this special issue, you learn about one of the most notorious orcs to ever stalk the galaxy. Snikrot is an infiltrator without peer, feared by orcs and humans alike, and now he's yours to command. Boss Snikrot is a murderous ghost whose obsession with commando warfare has seen him transcend the cunning of his fellow bloodaxes and achieve instead something nigh supernatural. By the time his terrified foes realise he is upon them, the boss is already opening their throats through the rip-toothed blades. So yeah, another character pack for us at a nice discount of a tenner. Paint guide, build guide, background, etc. Plus the way of including him in the combat patrol. So he'll probably replace the war boss as your leader, and I'm not too sure, but he might be able to join the boys, which will be pretty cool. If not, he'll be getting lone operative or something like that, most likely. But yeah, there we go. He probably has lone operative built in as it is. Anyway, looking at the magazines, so we have issue 55, the first part of our Hernkyn Pioneers, or Hernkyn. 56, the second part of the Hernkyn. We have 57, the first part of our Cthonian Berzerks, which, yeah, could be a single issue, but they didn't have much else to add in and change, so they kept it as it is, I guess. And of course 58, the final part, so lots of double issue videos to come. So as usual, we'll open these up, go through them one at a time, and of course at the end I'll give you my final thoughts on delivery, and I'll also let you know on what I'm going to be doing to help myself catch up with what I'm behind on. So yeah, here we go then, let's get things started with issue 55. So, the first part of our biker unit for the Leagues of Votann. So we've got our two sprues here, one end sprue, one central sprue. And yeah, we got two of the bikes pretty much. So I think these are just your basic trooper bikes. Yeah, I think the champion is on the other sprue, which comes with the additional gunner. Yeah, all in all, looking pretty good. Lots of details here, loads of different head options, so you can choose which one has which head, which is really cool. And you've got the legs for the gunner at least there, so it might be this one that has the gunner on the back. I'll have a look in the instructions, which will be in this issue. So let's take a quick dive through issue 55. I think I'll zoom in a little bit. That's better. I'll just double check the issue. Good thing I did, nearly enough every page was stuck together. So here we have the Hernkyn Pioneers. So we build the basic bikes, all share same assembly, including the front wheel, the base gun, and then we have our main results finished there. We then build up and attach our additional grav drivers. That's glue on the back. And we glue on our first champion here with his drawn pistol. We glue on the support plate and axles here. And then we can glue on the hover vent, or the grav vents, glue on the gunner pilot, and glue on his high-las rotary cannon there. And we got optional extras that can go on the front as well. Next up, we start building our two basic bikers. One has a comms pack and some mining tools on the back. And the other one, again, we got different ones that you can choose to go on and apply to each of the different bikers. And there's got a warning here about attaching and leaving in sub-assemblies to make painting easier. We have certain components that go to certain bikes. So 87 and 88 will go to the two basic bikers, which will require 22 and 25 for their grav plates. And then 89, 23 and 24 are for the champion biker. We have a little bit about kin society, breaking down the guilds and the kindreds, etc. We have a look at the orc clans, a nice in-depth guide at all the orc clans and how they do their wars or wars. We have the battle record for the Hernkyn Pioneers plus the datasheet. And we have 3 pages of campaign. So Chaos Space Marines versus Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines versus Tyranids, and Chaos Space Marines versus Eldari. And that's pretty much it for that issue. So nice and simple. Right, moving on to issue 56. So the final part for our bikers. So in the issue we'll have our paint guide as well as some more pages of lore. So we've got these nice large oval bases, pretty cool, they'll be for our bikers. We got the final sprue here, so we got full bike again, we got some optional heads, we got the rider, we got the extra weapons here for the gunners. So you guys have a I think it's a plasma, I'm not too sure, or the high las rotary cannon, which we're going for in the combat patrol. I'll double check the magazine again, and this one was fully fine. So our paint guide for the Hernkyn Pioneers, so we're leaving them as sub-assemblies, making sure you're not glued down to your bases. So we'll have the bases in one section, so these are going to be fairly easy. Paint your rock, put down your texture, wash, dry brush, done. Then for our bikes, basically put them in Abaddon Black, and then go through your paint guide. Abaddon Sunset, Lead Belcher, Wraithbone Screaming Pink, Catch and Flesh, Rakoff Flesh, Mephisto Red, Macragge Blue, Corax White. Then onto our shadings, so Nuln Oil, Agrax, Reichland. Highlights, so Calgar Blue, Stormhost Silver, Night Quest of Flesh, Pink Horror and Mechanica Stone Grey. Plus finishing off your faces, checking out your technique guide on page 7. Finally, clean up and apply glue to glue your bikers down, and you're done. So yeah, they look really cool. Can't wait to build these guys. Very nice, interesting unit that's kind of unique to the Votann, which is really cool. Into the rest of the magazine, then we've got Bonds of Honor Part 14, so more interactions with the Space Marines and the Votann as they continue to attack the Orcs. Then we have all about the kin hosts, how the armies are forged, a look at the different leagues, including the breakdown of the different leagues. So Greater Furian League, Trans-Hyperion Alliance there, and probably my second favourite colour scheme, the Ymir Conglomerate, which is very close to the Barak Zon colour scheme of the Kharazan Overlords, which is the red armour with the blue fatigues. Next up, we've got campaign page looking at the Orcs versus Space Marines, and we've got a scenario where we are dealing with our speedy units, so the jet bikes and the Hernkyn Pioneers. And again, we've got another data card here that we don't actually have yet. Shows how terrain can interact with objectives, so you can put an objective in a crater or a bunker like this, but you can't put it on a container. So terrain cards must be placed in a section on the battle map that does not already have a terrain card. Similarly, when placing objective markers during setup, they must be set up on a section of the battle map that does not already have an objective marker on it. So yeah, we've got a fun little mission we play here, Eldori versus Votann. It's all about collecting stuff, learning about your scout rules, and how to outflank with your mag riders, and your victory conditions there. And look at what's our next issue, which we can get to with issue 57. So we start our final unit for the Votann base combat patrol with the Cthonian Berzerks, and these guys are pretty cool, nice. Half-naked Berzerkers, built slightly chunkier than other Votann. And we've got plasma axes, graviton hammers, but we're building up all with the axes except for the graviton fists and the mole launcher, which is pretty cool. They do have a plasma axe sort of shouldered over the Hernkyn there. That is really cool, nice. Again, unit with lots of options for heads and stuff, so you can make sure each one looks unique. I'll put those to one side. Double check the issue again. This one was very stuck together. Oh, missed a page. There we go. So into issue 57 then, we got the build guide for Cthonian Berzerks. So we've got a choice of different heads for each of the models. We've got the mass gauntlets there going on, or concussion gauntlets. And everyone else near enough has a heavy plasma axe. And then finally, we've got the mole grenade launcher. We learn about the Kronos hegemony, the League of choice that we are painting our models as. They're swift to anger and they love to utilise armoured assaults. So yeah, could definitely do with getting some tanks for these guys. And we get to look at what the Brokir Thunderkin will be looking like in our next premium kit that we get. So all in all, pretty cool. Then we look at some transports and different tanks of the 41st millennium. Awesome old classic cutaway of a Land Raider. Really love that. I wish I could have got hold of the giant poster that they did with old White Dwarf years ago. Death Watch there in action. Your advanced transports, so the Hecaton Land Fortress there. We've got the Grav tanks of the Primaris Marines. Bio transports in the form of the Orcs there. Then we look at light vehicles, so bikes, jet bikes and skimmers. Battle records for the Cthonian Berzerks and the datasheet. Campaign page for the Tyranids, and then we finish off the issue with the faction ability, as well as the combat patrol rules for the Leagues of Votann, so we can finally start playing full games with them once we have our finished models from next issue. And finally, we can end on our last two combat patrols, well, last two of our last three combat patrols, should I say. So we got our mats, which are double-sided in issue 61. So we get the second part of our desert or toxic wasteland mat. So we got our Genius of the Cults here, the Magos, 2 units of Neophyte hybrids, a unit of Acolyte hybrids, Aberrants, the Jackals with their quad bike and bikes, as well as the Rock Grinder. These guys will be facing off against the Cadians with the command squad, 2 units of 10 Cadian infantry, the heavy weapon team, 2 heavy weapon, 2 ordnance batteries, and the Sentinel, which I believe we're not getting the Sentinel until pretty much after we've had everything else, which is very odd. Normally we complete the combat patrol, then we'll get the bonus unit, but this is sort of like a 2-issue split between the end of these two and the World Eaters, if I remember the leak list correctly. So yeah, Astra Militarum, conscript your friends and fend off the threats facing humanity with the Astra Militarum. Genius of the Cults, rise up and topple the ruling powers with the terrifying operatives of the Genius of the Cults. So all in all, pretty cool. I'll take a look at what's in the next 2 issues. So finishing off the Cthonian Berzerks. And the Boom Dakasnaz wagon, so shown at 85%. So yeah, still, it's going to be a pretty cool model for us to build and add to our Orky army. Right then, final issue with issue 58. So the final issue then of the Cthonian Berzerks. We'll paint these guys before taking into battle. We've got the bases here, so a 50mm round base and 28.5mm bases. So yeah, they're about the same size base, or exactly the same size base as your basic Hernkyn warriors. And we got the 32mm bases, which will be for our special unit, which is next. So yeah, we've got our final frame here. So we can't really start building stuff until we have this frame. We've got the 2 fists. We've got hammers and axes here. So again, all options you could do for the full unit. Yeah, it would be pretty cool if we had a concussion hammer in at least one guy. Right, let's just double check that issue again. And this issue is also heavily stuck together. So here we are with issue 58. So we're looking at a paint guide. So I was thinking whether it would be Abaddon Black or Wraithbone as a base coat, and I was right with Wraithbone, as they are pretty much bare naked. So we just got little bits of armor on them. So we start with Wraithbone, pick out the trousers of Avalon Sunset. Then we're doing the Abaddon Black details on the backpacks, the cummerbund, the gauntlets and the axes and the boots. Catch and flesh on the straps and pads, as well as some of the facial hair. We're even picking out one guy's skin with catch and flesh. So if you wanted to, I guess you could base coat this model with catch and flesh. Picking out all the silver details of lead belcher, screen pink on the weapon hafts, red on the cables and the axe blades, as well as any bionic eyes. Making sure tip there to clean the brush regularly. Shading and models, non-oil, Agric Earth Shade, White Flesh Shade, Stormhost Silver then for highlights, Night Crystal Flesh, Pallid Witch Flesh, Pink Horror, Mechanica Standard Grey for the armour edging. And that's our models up to this stage with the bases done. All we've got to do is finish off those plasma axes. And yeah, I'm probably going to take these guys to a little bit of a further stage than most of the other Votann stuff. I kind of like these guys more as a central focus point to the force. The bikes, again, could be. Maybe after the collection's complete, I'll take everything up to the full standard that you can do with the magazine. So we'll look at League territories with a nice map of the galactic core that the kin have explored in their time of isolation. So life in the galactic core, the Cthonian mining guilds. Your Orcs versus Eldari. Interesting to see a beast snagger boy there on the Orcs. That's wrong for a start. Very odd. And we're back to a normal boy here for the Orcs versus Chaos Space Marines. Then we have a Combat Patrol data sheet page for Warspeak's councils. So the Carl, the Cthonian Berzerks, the Hernkyn Pioneers, and the Hernkyn Warriors. Showing down what the models are. And here we have a nice overview and painted up in the Kronos Hegemony colour scheme there as well. Finally, Scenario 35, Hunt Them Down, sees the Cthonian Berzerks chasing down some Tyranids. And yet again, we have a deployment map that shows us cards we don't yet own. So, that's an interesting one, actually. Not too sure what that's made out of. I'll have to wait till we get the actual card to check it out. So, yeah, we got lots of terrain features in our way. We have 2 units of 1 Von Meyer Leaper, 3 units of 2 Termagants. Votann player places a single 5 model unit of Cthonian Berzerks. Neither side takes secondary objectives, enhancements, and neither side can use stratagems. So, a roll off reminder. So, we'll actually see rolling off for the first turn, which is kind of interesting. So, datasheet abilities. The Cthonian Berzerks are unusually hardy, even for warriors leagues of Votann. The legendary toughness of reputation and the feel no pain rule, which allows them to avoid damage, and by the Cthonian Stims ability, which gives them a final chance to strike back to anyone who would be able to take them down. So that's pretty cool. So a reminder of Feel No Pain and Cyber Stims, Victory Speech, and again another shot of our next combat patrols. So looking forward to getting these guys started. Really interested to see how we're going to be doing the Cadians and the Genius of the Cults. I'm looking forward to both of these actually. It's going to be interesting. So we're kicking things off with the Genius of the Cults, and then it'll be into the Cadians before we hit the World Eaters. So look at our next 2 issues then. It's the Boomdacker Snazwagon in 59. Then 60, we got the Ironeer Hearthguard. So we got the Plasma Blades, the Grenade Launchers, and they got their Disintegrator Pistols as well. Looking really cool in the Kronos colour schemes there. Love that armour. So yeah, lots of stuff to read. More story for Bonds of Honor. So maybe we are reaching the end, which will be very interesting to see. So yeah, looking forward to that. Like I said, that's going to be the next delivery. So we'll get the 2 new units. We'll also get a paint issue, which is our second to last paint issue. And we'll also be getting the Magus for the Genius of the Cults in that delivery. So, pretty cool. Right then, let's bring everything back in and I'll give you my final thoughts on the latest delivery. So there we have it. That is our latest delivery for Combat Patrol. And yeah, a very interesting delivery. Kind of light as it has been with a lot of these double issue deliveries. So most of the value is going to be on the actual internal content of the magazine, I think. But we do get some great plastic kits at least. We get the awesome Hernkyn pioneers on their bikes. Really cool unit, very unique to the Votann. And yeah, pretty cool. I do like them on the little graviton hover bikes. Kind of cool. And then we do get the Cthonian Berzerks, another heavy unit. Maybe they'll be slightly better in some aspects than the Ironhear Hearthguard, who don't have a lot of rules and are the replacement unit for these guys if you want to. But yeah, maybe the Feel No Pain and the Stims will sort of push these guys in favour more often. They're not as durable with low armour, but they have roughly the same sort of stats, toughness wise, etc. I think the 2+ save on the Ironhear might just push them more to be used than these guys. But we'll wait and see how they play in games. Interesting that they're again showing us terrain cards in scenarios that we haven't yet received, so looking like there's a bit of an oversight there in the editing department. Maybe they haven't been told the correct order certain cards have come out. So yeah, it's been like that now. The past 3 deliveries they've had at least a magazine where they've shown a card that we haven't had at least one of. So very interesting on that. As it goes for the rest of the contents of the magazine, though, I think we've got some pretty good stuff. As I said before, the paint guides are getting better now that we have more paints. We are only 2 paint issues away. So, Caliban Green, White Scar, Wild Rider Red, and Uriel Yellow are the only colours I believe that we're missing. So we'll probably be getting those in the next few issues. There's a lot of red on the Magus with her robes, so probably we're going to see the Wild Rider Red issue come before her. What it's paired with, it'll probably be the Uriel Yellow, as red and yellow kind of go together. Then it'll probably give us the axe tutorial in that issue on how to finish off the plasma axes and blades. And yeah, we'll also get, when we come to the Cadians, we'll get the White Scar and the Caliban Green for the armour and the medkit guy. All in all, though, it has been a good delivery. Lots of lore, not a lot in the way of stories. I think we just got that 1 chapter for Sergeant Askerton. But all in all, I'm looking forward to it. Nice lot of campaign pages. Definitely saving those for the complete collection. Ratings then, as usual, I'll put prices and stuff up on screen somewhere for those interested to see how this breaks down value wise. Ratings then, so for plastic, I'll give it a 5 out of 5. 2 really cool kits. They do give us limited options on what to build, so it's balanced building really. But it's the full kit, so you do have the options to maybe magnetize or leave parts loose so you can swap out later on once you finish playing through the magazine. Easier to do with the gun mounts on the bikes, not so much with the Cthonian Berzerks. You really do have to kind of glue all those components together. It's not the easiest to swap in and out of. But still, they do look pretty cool regardless of how you equip them. So lore-wise, I think again I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. We get quite a few pages. And then remaining magazine content, I'll probably give it a 4 out of 5. That's going to be counting those few errors, not knocking it down from a 5 out of 5. So yeah, we got those few errors of random cards that we don't have yet, and of course that odd use of a Beast Snagger Boy in a battle sheet for the campaign. Very strange. Maybe someone was sent the wrong picture file that particular time they put that issue together. Who knows? So for the final rating then, that's going to give this delivery a 4.5 out of 5. All in all though, it's still a pretty good delivery. It's the kind of standard for these, as I said, these double issue sort of deliveries that we've had over the past few combat patrols. But it's still great. We've got our 2 new units that we're going to have to build and paint ready for use in games. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting these guys built and painted. Can't wait for that. Have to wait till after the weekend to get some spraying done because we've got this storm hitting us. So yeah, I hope you'll join me when we start going through these issues. But we've got 2 more issues from the last delivery to finish off first. So yeah, that's it. All in all, really good delivery. And looking forward to the next delivery as we get the 2 bonus units. The start of the Genius of the Cults, we get Snikrot, and it should be our next set of premium kits as well. So the Brokier Thunderkin and the Killer Cans for the Orcs. So that's going to be interesting, and it would be nice to even use those in full games, which would be pretty cool. Right then, I've yammered on long enough. There we have it. That's our latest delivery for Combat Patrol. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments section down below. Give this video a good old like, and of course, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time on more Combat Patrol Carnage. Goodbye.